Hey, it's Jamie with Thoughtful Horsemanship. We're back with Jameson. This video I accidentally kind of set up out of frame, so I go out of frame a couple times and I had to cut some things out because the camera didn't quite catch everything. So same thing, this is day 2 out in the open arena and just going back doing some groundwork again and checking him out, making sure he's still, with me mentally. That's the biggest thing with these guys that like to bolt or do silly things like that. And he's still stiff, which is very typical to the right. So just kind of worked extra with him on that side today. Just double checking that, like I said, he'd be with me. And that sort of thing. So there I'm just flexing him on the ground. Because the day before he was pretty stiff. So I just want to make sure that he has that. I'll do both sides. Then we'll go and get on, and like I said, this is kind of where I didn't have the camera really good to see. But we'll make do with what we have. And so again, I got on, I didn't ask him for anything immediately. Did flex him, but I'm still just asking him to stand for a second. It's okay if he's, looks off, whatever, that's fine. He got a little stiff there, so I just kind of bumped him again. Flexed him to the left. Just letting him, same thing, kind of think about what we just did, what I asked him to do, that sort of thing. And there I asked him to walk off. Just kind of walking some bigger circles. We walked some smaller circles the day before. This video is sped up, and like I said, I did go out of range quite a bit with the camera, and I cut out most of that, so that way we're not just looking at blank screen. And once again, whenever I steer, I'm just doing one rein at a time, leaving the opposite rein loose. And bend him to a stop just to make sure that we still have that stop, especially to the right. He's a little stiffer to the right, and he tends to be a little more hesitant as to listen going to the right. And as you can see, just letting him stand and rest for a second, so that way he doesn't think that he has to go right away after we stop. And then we'll go back to the left. And there I asked him to trot a little bit. So this is the first time that I've asked him to trot. He was really stiff to the left and the right, actually. And so I'm just kind of guiding him, bumping his nose a little bit. You can see he actually put his nose to the outside. So that's just telling me he's really stiff. Bend him back to the stop. So bending him back to that stop is just reinforcing where his nose needs to be whenever I pick up. And I'll let him sit and think about that for a second. And I'll kind of change directions. There I went out of frame again, but come back. He kind of got squirrely on me, so I kind of had to make sure he had both directions going there. Go back to the right, and there he got really stiff. Real stiff. He kind of put his nose to the outside, so I just reinforced that. bend him back down to a stop, and I'm going to let him rest. And then I'm going to call it a day, because this has been really hard mentally for him. I could feel him kind of collect under me and get real nervous. So I don't want that. I want to always reinforce that calm quietness.